In this video, we will see what is Amazon Web Service Autoscaling Group, and we'll do a quick demo and go through a couple of steps to configure Autoscaling Group and launch instances. Okay, before we get into the demo, we'll see what is Autoscaling Group. It's one of the Amazon Web Service service which basically helps us to maintain the application availability by scaling up or down by automatically launching EC2 instances for certain conditions. For example, you can add more instances when the application loads increases, or you can remove the instances automatically when the load decreases, goes down to the certain number. Or you can say, hey, at any point of time, I wanted to have my application to run with 5 instances or 10 instances. That's my desired capacity. You can keep that also. So all this can be achieved by using this auto scaling group. Let's understand some of this. To configure auto scaling group, we need minimum, we need to understand these numbers actually. We need minimum number of one instance. Of course, to run an application, we need one instance at least minimum. So, but during the configuration, you can say, hey, minimum I would like to start with 5 instance or 10 instance. So still, that's applicable. During the load time, when the CPU goes more than 80% or 90%, how do you want to scale? You want it to scale up bunch of 5 instances, bunch of 2 instances. That's what scale out as needed. And what is desired is, as mentioned earlier, you can say I wanted to, at any point of time, I would like to keep 10 instances running all the time. That's the desired capacity. The maximum, I would like to start with 2 and scale up like 4 and 4s and 4s, and I can go up to 100 instances. That's what maximum size. Let me walk through one more time. Let's say I have an application. For my application to be live, I need minimum 1 server. My application to perform normal, I decide to have 3 servers. For my application to perform during the peak load, peak season, I can go up to 20 servers. And when I go 20 servers, I would like to scale out 2 servers for every 10 minutes. For example, if the CPU goes 80%, I'll watch it for 10 minutes. Consistently, if the CPU stays at 80% or above, I add 2 more servers. Still, if the CPU is 80% or above, again add 2 more servers. It is like every 10 minutes I will add two servers, and I can go up to 20 servers. That's what it is. Okay, let's see what are all the components we need when configuring auto scaling. Step 1, you need to configure launch configuration, which is nothing but a template. In this template, we need to say what kind of AMI I want to use. It could be a marketplace AMI, or it could be your own AMI. In my demo scenario, I'm going to use my own AMI. And the type of instance, the first one decides the OS or operating system like Amazon Linux, Red Hat, or whatsoever. And the second one is the instance type. What kind of hardware you want, like T2 Micro, M4, C4, all those you can choose here. And rest all same, like storage, security. These are all the, when you launch an instance, all these are required, right? So those things. Second part is auto scaling group configuration. To do the auto scaling group configuration, so the launch configuration is step 1, so that's mandatory. And you need to choose the appropriate network and subnets, basically the availability zones. And you should have the 2 policy, scaling up policy, scaling down policy. Like when you increase, what condition and how many numbers and those stuff, what policy. When you decrease, what condition you want to monitor and how do you want to reduce that one. And of course, monitoring, notification, those stuff. So this is the 2 important things we are going to do when creating auto scaling component, auto scaling group. Okay, so let's see what scenario I'm going to cover in this demo. I already have a web server which is already built. Usually when we create auto scaling group, we don't want to choose one empty fresh AMI, so that you will get just the operating system, nothing running on it, which is not really useful. So I already launched an EC2 instance, started Apache HTTP service. That's my simple web server running. So with that web server, I created an AMI. So this is a working web server. I created an AMI. That's the kind of prerequisite. Everybody like to do that. And using this AMI, you know, create a launch configuration, and then using this launch configuration, I'm going to create an auto scaling group with a minimum of one instance and increase by one during the load time and go maximum of four. That's what my scenario. How am I going to increase the CPU? This is a simple dd command which is going to create a empty files, and for a which will increase the load of the server for a time being. So I would like to go like 50% or 30% for a demo, so that when the CPU goes more than 30% or more than 50%, I would like to launch one instance and see. That way we can cover quickly. Okay, let's go into the actual demo. First, log into your Amazon console, and as I mentioned, uh, this is my account. As I mentioned, I already have instances. There is one running instance. This is my one of the web server, which is already running. From this web server, uh, this is my IP. Let me browse and confirm. Uh, my web server is working fine. That's cool. So by using this web server instance, I created an AMI. This is my AMI, auto scaling web server AMI. How do I create it? How do we create AMI? Very simple. Just go to select the instance, action, image, create image. The steps will take you to create AMI. So that's what I did already. So using this AMI, I'm going to create a launch configuration and work on auto scaling group. So as I mentioned, for auto scaling, first step is launch configuration, then auto scaling group. So even if you click on auto scaling group, it automatically take you to create launch configuration. If you don't have one, that's the first step it will take you. So create launch configuration. As I mentioned, you can pick any AMI. If you pick from one year, that's going to be a empty just a operating system with nothing. So as I mentioned, I already have my own AMI, which is tested running with web server. This is what I created. So I'm going to choose this one. And the type of instance, I'm going to choose T2 micro. This is a free tier. And the name of the launch configuration, I'm going to say my launch config 01, and make it simple. Just go to add storage. I don't want to change anything. Same security group. I'm gonna use my own security group. I have one demo security group which is with HTTP 80 for everybody and 22 for only my server. Review and create a launch configuration. Choose a key. I am choosing my existing key and create a launch configuration. So my launch configuration is done. So basically I came to the second step, create auto scaling group, because my launch configuration is already done. So this is my name of launch configuration, and this is second step. I'm creating auto scaling group. So I'm gonna say name it my auto scale group 01. So this is very important. When you create a group, I want to start with 1. If I say start with 10, at the time of group creation, auto scale group creation, it is going to launch 10 instance. So for the demo purpose, I want to start with 1, and I'm going to choose a network. If you have your own VPC, you can choose. I'm choosing the default VPC. What is VPC, how to create, we'll cover in next video. But this video, I'm just choosing my default VPC. And subnet, basically these subnets are default subnets. There are 4 availability zones in this region, North Virginia region. So I'm picking one. See, you have an option here. by choosing all the availability zone A, B, C, D, and E, all four. So why this is important? For example, mine is web server. When I do scaling up, I would like to launch instances across multiple availability zone. In that way, my application is going to be highly available across multiple availability zone. That's good. So if you think, hey, I would like to stay only with one region, one availability zone, that's fine. You can choose one or two also. That's possible. So in this scenario, I'm gonna go maximum 4 instance. So I'm choosing all 4 availability zones so that one instance will be launched at each zone. So what is this availability zone? There is another video where I covered what is region, what is availability zone. I'll share you the link later, and just go and configure scaling policy. This is important. This is the policy I'm use, scaling policy, adjust the capacity of this group. This is one, it's gonna decide how do you want to increase the group size and how do you want to decrease the group size. So scale between 1 to, let's say, 4. So today I'm with 1, minimum is 1, and I can go maximum 4. That's what it is. So increase group size. Take action whenever you increase by 1, or I can say 2, so that every time the event occurs, whenever the CPU goes more than some number, 2 instances will be launched. I'm going to do 1. And what is the uh, alarm? Which one, which action I'm going to monitor? So let me create a new alarm. Just say uh, whenever my CPU goes more than 30%. Okay, look at here, the bar went to 30%. At least launch one instance for every 5 minutes. That's a default. I'm going to choose every minute so that we can finish the demo quickly. But best practice, keep it at least 15 minutes so that whenever CPU goes, let's say 80%, this CloudWatch is going to monitor for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes, if the CPU is consistently in 80%, then it is going to take action. We don't want to really choose 1 minute in a practical scenario, because there is a chance the CPU can spike and stay for a minute for some reason, which can unnecessarily launch instances and terminate instances. So for a demo, I'm just choosing 1 to make it quick. So create alarm. So now I added 1. Same thing, decrease. Create a new alarm whenever my CPU goes less than, let's say, 20%, or uh, you know uh, create 1 for every minute. I mean, terminate 1 for every minute. So when my CPU goes above 30, it is adding. When a CPU comes below 20, it is going to be reduction. So we don't want to keep 30 here also. We don't want to keep above 30 and below 30. The reason is, if any time, if the CPU goes and stay 30, between 30, 31, 32, it is fluctuating, then you will end up adding, terminating a lot of, it's like a nuisance. So just keep a little bit, reasonable gap between increase and decrease. Okay, create alarm. So alarms created, remove one by one. Whenever CPU goes down, remove 1. Whenever CPU goes down. So as I mentioned, it can go up to 4. It will add 1, go maximum, go 4. It decrease 1, but still I will have minimum 1. Okay, that's the idea. Minimum 1 will run. Now configure notification. So this is very important. When you configure a auto scale, we should get some notification, right? Whenever it adds or delete, we should know uh, some kind of notification. So this is the 4 actions usually will happen. At the time of scale up, it can launch. Scale down, it will terminate. Or you may get some launch error if you have any problem with your image, or it can terminate. It can fail with some termination if you have any policies. So for these types, create a topic, my auto scale notification, and send it to whom? My AWS crew at gmail.com. So let's say this is my email ID. So the mail will go to this email ID, so that you know what's happening out at your uh, infrastructure. Configuration tag. Here I can say name. I'll give a name. It's basically when the instance comes, what is the tag? What is the name label? It should come up. It should come out with like auto scale web servers, so that you will not confused with some other servers. Okay, review. So this is what I created. This is my auto scaling group name. Group size is 1. When you create at the time of creation, it's going to come with one instance. When I click create, one instance will be automatically launched. Minimum it should maintain 1 at any point of time, 1. Maximum can go 4. And health check period 300 second. um, that's fine. So minimum 300 second. And this is my scaling policy. Add one CPU when CPU goes, I mean add one instance when CPU goes more than 30%. Add decrease one when CPU goes uh, less than 20%. And send a notification to my email ID. This is the name I'm gonna get on the instance. Good, all looks good. Create auto scaling. So it's coming up. Now if I go back to my instance, I should see one instance is coming up. Okay, seeing one of the instances launching. So this is the instance, it's launching, part of the auto scaling group from by using this AMI. Okay, so that is good. Let's wait for it. Should come with the name. Let me see, I maybe missed something. Anyhow, it should come with the name. That's the tag name, whatever we gave, it should come here. Let me see whether I did any mistake here. My tag auto scale, yeah, it should come. When the flag is set, the tag will be applied to every new launch instance. Yes, it should come. Let's see, maybe it is still in the launch initialization. It's going on. Anyhow, so now this is my IP, right? Let's go and connect to my IP and check. Okay, still coming up. Yeah, see the name came automatically. That's good. So this instance is launched. Let me refresh again because it was still launching. Cool. So my web server is working now. So my auto scaling group is working. It launched one instance. Okay, now let's go back and connect to the instance and run the script to increase the load. So how do I connect? The same way, you need to connect through PuTTY. I'm using my terminal and go to my server. I have to use the user ID called EC2 user, not the root, to dash user. Okay, sudo su. I already have script in my AMI. This is my DD script. Basically, this is going to create multiple files. So many null files. Dev0 is nothing but all zeros. Input file is dev0, output is going to dev null. Basically it's going to the trash, and these many blocks and counts. So basically this is going to do some write operation. It's going to be CPU bound activity, but let's see um, let's see the CPU usage now. Today at this point my CPU is like average 100% idle. It's nothing running, so nothing in use. Now I'm going to run my script. The script is dd.sh, put it in executable mode, and then do no hub dd.sh. I'm running it in the background mode so that we can check the load top command. Okay, so I'm running this script couple of times so that it will go, it will run parallelly, which can increase the CPU load. So if you look at immediately, see here, my CPU idle went down 0%. It means, it is heavily used. It's actual my, if you remember, our configuration is for 30%, right? It went up to 90%. So shortly, we should see some instance, kicking in the background. Okay, so let's continue to run so that we will see, four instance. If you run this high CPU for long, um, you should see, uh, more instance. Maximum it can go up to four instance, right? So let's see what's happening here. Okay, so far only one server is running. There is a cooling period, so the first time, as you saw, 300 second. So we'll have to wait for 5 minutes to uh, do the health check configuration and kick the instance. So we'll have to wait. So So when my CPU stays there for 100% for, let's say, 20 minutes consistently, I would expect, same kind of auto scale web server, three more numbers. So total is four, right? So I should say four. So the moment my CPU comes down below 20%, it automatically terminate the three instances and just, run with keep, only one, because minimum is one, right? So that's what we should see. So let's wait. We'll have to wait for some time. Meanwhile, let me log into my Gmail and um, connect to my disk row. Okay, I should see some notification here. This is my old 34 minutes before. This is not the latest one. I should see one after we launched. This is the old one. So let me go back and check here what's happening. So 5 minutes is not done. So the first time it is going to be 5 minutes, and then I mentioned every 1 minute. So it has to wait for auto scaling, CloudWatch to monitor and send note to auto scaling to launch the instance. So let's wait. Look at now, there is another server which is added up. Now it is coming up. Uh, I can connect to the another server and check my website, which is working fine. If I go here, I should see some alerts. I'll get a notification here saying that, I am still waiting for the notification because it's still spinning up. Once my instance is completely up, I should see one notification to my email ID saying that, one more instance is added. So this is what, see, you can see one more instance also coming up, because still my server CPU usage is kind of, I'm running so many scripts, so I'm in the same script multiple times. So if you look at my top, it is, it is always, it came down now to 100% idle. Okay, fine. So if you look at my instance, it started terminating too, basically. So that's the idea. Like whenever my CPU goes up, it went one point, it went up to 100%. So one, two, three, four instance came back, and it came down. The moment it came down, it started terminating also. So it's like fluctuating actually. So uh, hopefully in a few minutes, everything will go down, and I will run with only one server. So that's the idea of having my auto scaling group configuration. So it will take a minute. Now my CPU usage is like 100% idle. So if you wait for a few minutes, it should go down completely to 1. Okay, so there is a cooling period, so we'll have to wait. Anyhow, this is a right now I have 1, 2, 3 instance running. One is start, one already terminated, so it will come down. So this is the idea of the demo, to walk through you how to create and scale up and scale down. um, there is one another thing I would like to cover quickly. Let's say you have a launch configuration here, the default one. Let's say you wanted to upgrade your OS patch or application patching. You can simply go here and take a copy of your launch configuration and create a new launch configuration and edit and update, change the AMI. Let's say you build another AMI with the latest OS or latest Apache or Tomcat or anything. So change the AMI and create a new launch configuration, saying that the new one. Okay, so let's say this is my copy of launch configuration. Then I can go to auto scaling group again, and and I can edit and change the auto scaling launch configuration, from old to new one, and save it. So what is it? What is the idea of it? Is whenever you wanted to do patching or application fix or change the type of instance or anything, it is mandatory to create a new launch configuration and attach it into your auto scaling group, and then stop all your old instance manually. When you stop, it automatically start the new one when you by using the new launch configuration. Okay, so that's the idea. So it's very simple to upgrade also. Let me repeat again. If you wanted to upgrade the OS patch or application patch, create a new AMI, test it, and then create a new launch configuration and attach the new launch configuration, and stop your go back to your auto scaling group instances, stop all your instances or stop one by one, and it should bring down when you stop all your instance, it should bring down the instance and come up with the new instances with the latest launch configuration. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful to you. Please so I could see here one more also terminated. That's fine. Don't forget to terminate your auto scaling group once you are done. This is a demo, so I'm just deleting my auto scaling group as well as my launch configuration, so that I will not pay to Amazon. So please don't forget to do that. That's it. We are done with this demo. We'll cover about VPC and networking concepts in my next video. Have a great day.